What's good? It's Jourds for UK Gossip TV, and I'm joined by artist 23 Unofficial.
Yo.
How are you doing today,
I'm alright,
darling?
and how are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic.
That's
Thank
good,
you very
that's
much
good,
for
that's
asking. 23 Unofficial, the
Yeah.
name. Where did that even stem from?
So the unofficial bit comes from, I was trying to find like 23 official, but
On social media?
Yeah, for like social media platforms, because it was in the process of changing the names over, and then it was just taken by everyone basically.
So you
we
decided to add the un in front?
Yeah, and then it just found it, and then we was like, cool, we'll run with this, and it's kind of different, innit? Like it sticks in your
everyone
head
goes
as well.
for the official.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it
right.
sticks in your head, and then the numbers. A couple of reasons, but mainly because I own a lot of Jourdans, innit? So we
you're
kind of
like a sneakerhead.
Yeah,
Right,
big
okay.
sneakerhead. So
Yeah.
more time, I just always get in the pairs. So at the time, I had a lot of pairs, and my boys was like, just run with that, and it kind of stands out. And to this day, we just continued, innit?
And it's stuck, and here we are today. Music industry, your journey in the music industry, I feel is like quite interesting.
I had an interest in it from the jump. So
Okay.
like my
From
family's
young?
yeah. So my family is very, very music oriented. Like my mom's always played music in the house, my dad's always played music in the house, in the car, whatever. So when it came down to it, I was just like, when it came to like secondary school times, I used to like, you do like little freestyles with your friends and whatnot, like banter and that. But this was before like.
Like MySpace days? Or were you too young for MySpace?
No, I was on MySpace.
Top
I
friends.
catch that. I catch that era still. But like Facebook days.
Okay, Facebook days.
that's
When
right,
Facebook was
BBM
the
days.
thing.
That was my
Okay,
era,
all
that was
right.
my
The
era.
status
So,
updates on BBM. All right.
So I remember my boys used to always tell me like, yo, like do it. Like you're hard. But like me, I remember this was before this whole new wave of the music.
Yeah.
I call it an epidemic nowadays because everyone just flooding
and especially because of social media and how it's like taken off over the past number of years. So it was pre that.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay.
So them times like music wasn't necessarily the lane to go down. Everyone wanted to be footballers, or you know what I'm saying, like go down the education route or whatever other route that people go down. Yeah.
Football.
So I was just like, nah, man, it's mad. And it got to like, I left college, whatnot, and then I remember my friends, they was like, come studio one day, like just to chill. And I was like, cause I'm so fascinated about music, I was like, cool, it's all fun and games, me listening to it, but let me see the process of it being made.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just found an interest in it. I went to the studio one day, like just saw that the whole development of how a song gets done, like how it goes from being a beat to just
like the
vocals
production
being on
behind
it,
it, as well.
So I kind of done my research in that sense naturally, and then from there I was just like, like I want to have a session, and then the rest is history.
Really?
Literally.
Would you say that is something which is really important? It's not just to obviously have a love for music as an artist, but to actually get yourself into the studio and to see how it's all.
It's a mad dedication still, because then when it actually now turns into your career, it's like, you can ask anyone here. I don't leave the studio nowadays. Like literally 24-hour shifts.
I mean, your manager was literally just saying that you left the studio like 3:30 yesterday.
Yeah, all the way on the other side of London. So, and it was it's long, but obviously it works out.
Yeah.
But like hard
I mean,
work pays off,
you've had like an incredible career over the past like 3 years or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, your track "Ain't Bothered" was my jam for like 6 months straight. I'm not even gonna lie. I added it to all my playlists. It's great. And I'd probably say that really did take a huge turn in your career,
100%.
and you kind of went from like here to boom, everybody knew your name.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you feel that transition, or was you just like riding the wave and you only stopped to turn around like a year later and go, damn?
You know what it is, because you see, like, before you do, let's say, blow up or reach heights that you didn't think you could possibly reach before, it's like your music you'd only see your music reaction from the people around you. So, and maybe like, because we got social media luckily nowadays, you see 1, 2 tweets and, snaps and Instagrams or whatever, but it doesn't still feel real to that extent, you know what I mean? So it's only until like I probably had my first show.
Really?
Like I done like a club booking in uni, Leicester, and I remember like it was my manager at the time's friend who hosts the events. So they was just like, and I remember all my friends, they started going uni them times. So everyone was like, we're going to this rave, but I got booked last minute.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so in my head I was just thinking, cool, everyone's going to this rave. Like, I'm so used to just going to rave as a normal person.
And
so
now you're going
as now I'm going as a performer. So imagine we've gone there now, but I'm a shy person in general. So naturally, I don't take to like big crowds and that, innit? And then I was just like, damn, But for
Did
the
you get
last,
nervous?
yeah, 100%,
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
And at this point, the song had come out in July. I'd done that show in September, so I'd done no shows for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it's only up until the point I've got on stage and I've seen everyone just going crazy, like, and I'm just like, bro, why are these people going mad for me? Like, you know what I'm saying, though?
I bet that's like a crazy feeling as
it's
well,
crazy.
knowing that people are singing all your lyrics.
Because at first I was scared, and then, like, naturally, luckily for me, people take to my songs.
Yes.
So when they are able to sing it back to me, or just know the words, like I might find someone in the song just going crazy to the song.
Yeah.
That kind of comforts the situation in the sense of it breaks the nerves.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
what do you do like before you go on stage to combat your nerves? It's really interesting, like hearing like the differentiation between like how certain people deal with certain things.
I kind of just like every time and like I got the opportunity to perform it properly, like in front of people. I kind of just like say 1-2 prayers, like thank you for allowing me to, like, you know what I'm saying, be in front of these people. Because a lot of people, like the other day, someone told me that it helped my music helped them get through a lot of situations and that. So if I'm able to do that as a person, then and I don't even necessarily intentionally do it when I'm going to the studio, but if that helps someone out, one person builds onto another and then whatnot. Yeah, so that's a good feeling.
It's amazing knowing that music has so much of an impact on people, everyday people,
100%.
to even people that are even in the industry. I'm sure you've had people that have gone, that tune done bits and all that kind of stuff. So
100%.
it's amazing. Do you feel any pressure, like knowing that you've had like a number of tracks that have done insanely well, they've gone viral, crazy amount of hits on YouTube. I think like one of them I was seeing as like 17 million.
Yeah, can't tell me doesn't matter. I wasn't even ready for that
17 million. I've sat down and I've watched that. Like that is insane.
It's
I can't even
still.
imagine what it does to the brain.
It's crazy still.
Do you feel like any pressure with the new music that you release to kind of reach those same heights, or do you kind of just tunnel vision it and not, like, how do you feel when you release the new music?
When it comes to new music, I always say music's trial and error. So not every song might hit a person. Because, like, say for instance, I'm a massive Drake fan, but not every song hits me. Okay. The same way, I don't know, every
what
other
song doesn't hit you by Drake?
Hardly, like, none, but like a lot.
Did you like War? Did you like War?
Yeah, I like that. I like that because you switched it up. You see what I'm saying? That's a different angle for Drake. Yeah. So like, I can go through the whole of, like, Scorpion probably was a dope album, but it wasn't one of my favorites.
What
like,
is your favorite?
It's between Take Care and Nothing Was the Same, but I'd probably say Take Care.
Take Care, I would say is mine.
Yeah, because that's the original one that caught me onto him.
Yeah.
But like in terms of my music, not every song's gonna hit everyone, because some songs might hit people in different ways. Like luckily, like Ain't Bothered, obviously that was a viral thing, so it was in the club, so you're gonna hear it. Can't tell me.
Boom.
That Torn relates to everyone. I see men singing them songs in their car, and it's fun still. But yeah, music's trial and error, so I don't ever feel the pressure of necessarily like, cool, I've got to make another Ain't Bothered, or I've got to make another Can't Tell Me, or Torn, or this and that. I just go to the studio, Flex will sort out producer or whatever, and then I'll sit down with them, discuss like what type of, because if you can see, I don't just necessarily make one genre of sound. Okay. So I've always, so every producer, I always tell them like, I don't just make that, I don't want to come to that. There've been times, just after Ain't Bothered, I'll go to the studio and I'll just hear the same type of beat pattern. I'm just like, nah, bro.
So you're not afraid. You're not somebody who's afraid of like experimenting with different sounds. That's good.
100%. Because even like what we've been recording recently, every day is a different type of sound. Okay. So like you can see, I've gone from like doing a Can't Tell Me or a Say No More, then I jumped on like a Recognition, which is like the honcho sound with that trap wave, Nath, AM, all them guys, and then that's still done well in a sense. So I'm never scared to experiment, because me as a musician, I always like artists that can vary it. So it's
Which I suppose is what Drake is really good at, is the fact that he does like to experiment with all sounds across the board.
100%. So I always try that. So we're going to hear
you do some like reggaeton or something?
I don't mind it, you know. We'll see one day. I can't really speak the language, but I'll get someone to try with me, innit?
Really? Good. Put an ad out for some tuition.
It's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. I always try a different vibe,
but that's good. I feel like as an entertainer and somebody working in that field, I suppose, being able to mix and blend and not have just one string to your bow,
100%.
It's a unique thing, and I think that is one thing that will always keep people gripped to your music, the fact that you're not afraid of taking risks. 100%. And I suppose that's why a lot of legends and icons have gone on to do so well, is because they're not afraid of stepping outside of like the box.
100%.
So you've got your EP, and you've also got a mixtape that's coming out.
Yeah.
One before the other.
Yeah.
What can we expect from it?
So the first one's, I'd say for about a year and a bit, I kind of took some time out to kind of understand the game in a sense, as in the music industry and whatnot. Because
you signed or
not anymore.
independent?
No, I'm independent.
Okay,
We're on independent route now.
Yeah.
So it was like when Ain't Bothered and all these other songs popped off. Bearing in mind, I'd only started making music 6 months before that. So it was like
that's crazy. That's quick.
Because
some people are grinding for 100%, like 10 years. 100%. Before, yeah.
So luckily, I was blessed to be able to, and I just caught that new wave of when everyone was doing well in music. So it was just like, yeah, but music's it's a crazy world to just walk into.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I don't like kind of going into places not knowing what the hell's going on. So that's why I kind of took some time out to kind of understand what was going on at the time. Even though in the background, I'm still in the studio working 24/7.
Yeah.
But it was like, cool, let's kind of see what goes on for the next couple months and this and that and where we fit in a sense. Because it's like, cool, Ain't Bothered, that's 2017 now, 2018. Even though it still gets played to this day, it's like, cool, we've done that now.
Me included.
And the last tape that had come out before this one, that's 2018 now.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, we've done that now. What's happening now? Because as you can see, music's kind of changing every 4 or 5 months, I say.
It's quick.
And it's just like, cool, once that's been done, it's on to the next sound or whatever else is popping in a sense. But it's gradually progressing.
Yeah.
And it's great to see. And even though I'm a part of it, I'm also a spectator of it at the same time. So naturally, I just sit down and watch everyone and do whatever. But this next tape that's coming out, it's like an introduction back into what we was doing before.
Okay.
So it's like, it's a quick mini EP, I'd call it. It's like 3-4 songs going into whatever sounds are touched. I don't want to give away too much.
What? Do we like exclusives here? Okay, what about any features?
No, this one's just me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Like stripping back, pure.
100%,
This is just,
100%.
it's all about me.
This is me.
Some selfish time.
Yeah. So this is what you get with this one.
Yeah.
But the next one.
Are we telling a story on this one, or is it just like?
It's just like, it's a collective of different things. Like my music's always based on experiences.
Okay.
So whether it's based on my experiences or experiences I've seen through other people's eyes, in a sense, or the people around me or what we go through, that's always what's getting laid on the song. So yeah, it's just more of like it's like a couple rap songs, a couple vibes. It's a mix and match. It's a mix and match. But then the next tape, that's the one that I feel like, yeah.
And have you started doing that already in the studio?
We finished this last tape maybe December, November.
Okay.
Mid-December, and we jumped on this one straight away around Christmas.
Right.
So.
And this one's going to be out. So this mixtape's going to be out in April. Around that time.
Potentially around that time.
Do we have any names? Or are you just
I can take it off camera.
Come on, man. This is UK Gossip TV. We need
there's some big names on there still.
Big.
Yeah. Like a lot of people's.
Anyone
favorites.
that you've worked with before?
Yeah, I can say that.
Okay. Well, we've given you something to go by.
Yeah.
Go with it. Roll with the punches.
100%.
Who do you reckon is on his mixtape? Start now. Okay, so we've got some big names.
Yeah.
How many tracks are we going to have in that one, do you reckon? We haven't decided.
I'm pushing for like 8, 9, but Fleets or 7. But like, there's some samples on there. So.
Some samples.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I'm kind of pushing for more.
Okay.
Because originally I wanted to do like a sample tape, like like the chick tapes kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know clearing is going to be it's going to be a bit too much headache. Yeah. But in the sense of just getting like the top ones that I've kind of made so far onto the tape. That's what we're trying to do now.
So it's going to be a busy year for you,
2020. 100%.
Do you want to do some like festivals and stuff as well? Yeah. Is there any in particular that you've kind of got your heart set on?
I still ain't touched wireless yet. I remember one time I was meant to come out for someone. I don't want to give away who, but
well, what you can
it
now,
would have been a surprise. Yeah.
You trying to look for his manager?
He's over someone, but I was in Denmark at the time.
Okay, who?
So it was Jourds, innit? So he was meant to this was 018. It was 018, so we was meant to come out, do Ain't Bothered, because I never got booked that year for I think I just missed it, but luckily I was being able to get brought out and whatnot. I missed it. I was in Denmark.
Damn.
I was just like, damn, but it's cool.
It's all about timing.
Yeah, everything. I feel like God has His time with everyone. So this thing, like me going away, coming back, it's like it's a good understanding of what kind of really matters in this music industry in a sense.
Did you feel like there was a lot that changed?
Oh yeah,
like from maybe
naturally.
like the guy that you once was to now you
I feel
as
like
a
I've still kept my fundamentals as a
Right.
person, like the foundation. I'm still like humble as ever, as always. Like I still give thanks for all blessings and whatnot. But naturally, I feel like a lot of things change around people. I remember like music is this number one job that everyone wants to do nowadays. If you kind of so.
And not everyone has the opportunity
exactly
and the luck to be able to do it.
And not everyone has someone around them that is actually doing it in the sense of like they've seen certain things and reached certain heights. So it's like when you do get to certain stages, you start to see. And me, I analyze everything to detail. So it's just like I see everything that goes on around me. I see people.
Do you overanalyze? Or
sometimes I don't try and overthink.
Okay.
But like me, first impressions are everything. So if I get a gist of something that seems kind of odd, because like luckily for me, my parents taught me right from wrong, like to the detail. So it's kind of now that I'm a grown adult in a certain sense in the public eye, it's like I'll be able to see certain things that they taught me in a sense. So and just like on a day-to-day environment thing, like when you grow up around the areas that we grew up in, it's just like. It's easy to spot a lot of things that you might not spot.
So you've kind of taken that on board.
Yeah, 100%.
And you kind of use it to your advantage.
Yeah. So now we're just like I'm just weary as ever. It's just like, right, like, all right, cool, what's that person's? Not like every time, because I know some people are genuine. A lot of people are genuine. So it's just like,
just
cool.
like with people's like intentions.
Yeah, like what's your angle? Like what's your intentions? Like
right.
if
because I guess you do get a lot of clinger-oners.
100%. It gets like that sometimes.
Yeah?
But
do you feel like you're good at spotting who those people are?
100%. Because I'm still around the same people that I started.
Yeah.
Before I even touched the microphone. So like that in itself for me, it's like you can't. And the people that I have chosen to keep around me, in a sense, or naturally have stayed around me, I know they don't have it in them to kind of go and switch up on me. Because we've got deeper ties, you know what I mean? Like before the fame and that and the music and the money and whatnot that gets involved in it, we had a genuine situation going on. So I try and keep those people, and those are the people that usually keep me grounded as well and level-headed, because as you know, it can get easy, like distracted in this.
This is true. The parties.
When I go and do
the
like
women, the DMs.
Come up with some crazy thoughts and be like, chill, man. Just like chill, man. You don't need to do all of that, man.
Yeah.
But no, like now it's just more like. Before I had like a person's mindset that was coming out the ends, and has
really. What, going into music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because naturally you don't like you can. Tell yourself you have a business mindset, but until you actually go through it, you don't actually kind of understand it. Do you know what I mean?
Because you learned a lot of that kind of earlier on when you was like being booked for certain
100%.
things.
So it's like I had to understand how the business goes, and like because this is a whole nother business world to what I was used to, it's just like cool. I need to kind of pick up because things are moving fast in this world. So let me pick up and this and that. So now that I'm back, now it's like cool. I've got a business mindset. I know I need to do this.
Sorry to cut in. Would you say that that's so anyone that's watching that wants to get into music and they literally like don't know where to start, they've obviously got this amazing talent. The business side of things, do you think that you learn better whilst on the job, or would 100%. You have kind of researched into the business element beforehand to like prep yourself up?
I can only say that like in the terms of me, I work on this person based on experience. So it's like I only learn from experiences, like things that have been taught to me. So I can't necessarily, if there was a book about the music industry, I can't read that.
You can't read it and I know what to do if this happens.
Nah, it's like man has to go through it.
Yeah.
Because you can only learn from mistakes and whatever you made, and like you only learn from lessons that have been taught. So every mistake I've made, I try and never make that same mistake, and then I'll better it or have an idea or thought in my head like, how can I make a better outcome now?
As opposed to like,
cool, let me just do this again and get the same outcome or even worse. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, as naturally in any world, just learn from your mistakes, as they always say. So
because
now,
you're a businessman, you're not just an
it's
artist.
Like, this is an industry, and remember, we are the business in a sense. So like we're the business model or whatnot. So it's like you can't afford to kind of take too many big mistakes in a sense. In that sense, everyone takes losses. It's natural, but it's always about how you bounce back. But it's like if you're doing the same mistakes, it's like you've got to G-check yourself in a sense.
This is true.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Like, do you know what? Even in like day to day, I think that even goes that even works in your day to day life.
100%.
You know, if you keep making the same mistake and then you'll question everybody else around you.
It's like maybe you have to question yourself
and be like, okay, no, this is actually me. So
100%.
yeah, that really does ring true. I know that you've mentioned how you kind of took some time out to kind of focus on you and kind of look at everything else. How important? I know there's like so many talks at the minute about mental health in the music industry. Like, how important do you feel like it is to you and to speaking openly about it and to like the music industry as a whole?
Naturally, when you're, what did they say, like you go through like a midlife crisis or whatnot, innit? So like, obviously everyone's is different, but I feel like with this industry that we're getting put in, it's like, cool, just like in general, I don't want to draw things out, but it's just like cool. Like you might be someone that's come from a certain area, certain environment,
Right.
and as you know, like London, it has its areas where we have a low, like a high crime rate or whatever, and this and that, and a low education rate or whatnot. So it's just like when you're coming from certain environments, you're not taught how to deal with a 6-figure check, or you're not taught to how to deal with fame or publicity and this and that. So it's like some people, I understand exactly why it can be hard to kind of struggle with that, because we ain't coming from those type of situations. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when it's thrown at us, it's like,
what do you do?
like this left move might go right, or it might go completely left. It's not like it's built into us where it's like, cool, we're ready for this. Like this has been passed down through knowledge of generations and whatnot. So naturally, luckily for me, I've got a good support system around me. So my parents hold me down, my friends hold me down, family, like friends are like family to me more time. So it's just like management, like everyone, as long, like when I started with Flakes, it was just like, as long as we've got the same goals and we're on the same pages and we're following the same suit, it's only down to us to kind of make the mistakes. You see what I'm saying? But it can't really go wrong in that sense, because it can only go wrong if one person on one page and another person's on another page, and it's like, cool, where do we go from here? But I always say, like, try and keep the good people around you. Like, stay away from like all the negativity, because it can overpower sometimes in certain ways, and that. So, and it can affect your mental health, and in the long run, it will do a lot. But as long as you got like a good support system, you believe in yourself and you follow your own craft, it can only go that way. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, no, it's easy to get caught up in this world. Trust me, I know about it. So, and you see,
feel like that's, I mean, so you've kind of spoken about the people that are around you. Would you say that they are kind of your support system when it comes to being able to be open and speaking about what it is that you're going through?
100%. Like there's certain things, like me, I like taking on 100 things at once, and then when it all goes left, it's like bam, and blows up, which is not a good thing, innit? Like, I've been told so many times it's not a good thing, but that's also a coping mechanism, because if I can deal with it myself, I'll deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Or if I need assistance, I'll go and ask for the assistance. But no, like my friends, like when I was doing that whole time out and whatnot, like my friends used to go in the studio, what are you doing at this place or at that place? Like, why are you there? At first I was like, oh, allow it, man. Like, why are you not just gassing? But in the long run, you start to see it. It's like, all right, cool, that's taking an effect now. Like, raw, maybe so-and-so was right.
Yeah, so was that period of time as well kind of your time to yourself, mental-wise,
like mentally, because it's like,
because I think as well, like when you've been kind of thrust into an industry so quickly with so little kind of prep beforehand, because you've got these like, you know, we've got these people that we hear about in the music industry that have been, like Riora, for example, she was signed for I knew about her from when I was in like secondary school, from like year 9, and she didn't blow until a good like 5-6 years later, and in that time, they're obviously conditioning you and teaching you and this, that, and the other, and I suppose in your case, you're kind of thrust into it.
Because
so I feel like sometimes it has that downside where you're kind of like, oh my god, shit. That has just happened. So 100%. You need to kind of take that time out to kind of system reset. And then
100%.
Did you feel like that was a little bit of it?
It was more than necessary, because it was like, cool, remember originally I was going studio and making music. I didn't even have the ill intentions of being this big, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like this these big records, and with that comes along my face. So it's just like, cool, everywhere I go, it's like, now I wasn't used to, all right, cool, yo, that's let me take a picture, or yo, swear your hit. Like, I'm not used to all of that. I'm just used to, I'm a quiet person. I'll go about my business and go home. But now it's like, cool, you got to adapt to these new situations and changes and environments around you. So it's like, it's crazy. It can be crazy at times and whatnot, but it was necessary. I feel like sometimes everyone needs that time to kind of, because I'd rather have done it then than 6-7 years down the line, where it's like I've got actual priorities and big things to be dealing with, and it's like I'm having mental breakdowns, and I can't afford to do it, even though naturally it does happen. But it's like I would have known from, like I said earlier, learn from your mistakes. So I would have been able to learn the lessons of what I'd learned in the past and be like, all right, cool, maybe not do that, but do that and see what happens instead, because you always got to weigh up the odds at times. But no, it's easy.
You know what, I think it's a good message. I think it's a really positive and strong message as well. 100%. Just to, you know, let everybody know that sometimes you do need to take those times out to
100%.
kind of system reset. It's
100%.
okay not to be okay.
100%.
And I feel like, you know, being able to have those kind of conversations does in effect inspire others
100%.
to know that, you know, you can still be up here.
There's no shame. There's no, there's no shame in it, because I'd
Yeah.
rather know that like, say for instance, if I knew someone that was going through it or whatnot, like I can pick up on things. So if they don't necessarily want to say anything at that time, I'll be like, cool, when you're ready to talk, Let's talk. I've got 20. We've all got the same 24 hours, and no one's too busy to hear someone out or talk to someone. Because you see what happens, like people, like God forbid, people commit suicide and all these things, or like go through a lot of traumatic things and don't tell no one because they feel like they can't. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's like, there's no shame in saying, oh, like, I don't feel okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no harm in it. If you need to talk to someone, even if you don't feel comfortable in talking to someone that's like around you, go and see a therapist or find somebody just to let off.
Therapist is fine.
Do you know what I mean? There's no shame in it. Like, just let it off your chest at the end of the day. And once you do, I'm telling you, that's like a big weight off your shoulders more time. So like, no, I see it. Like,
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's key, man. It's key. You got to spread the knowledge more time.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like some people are, like, naturally, as like even like just men or women even in general, today's society, everyone's got a lot of pride.
Yeah, of course.
So they don't want to share, oh, that makes you weak, whatever. Like, bro, it's not gonna be weak. Like, if you come to me, I'm not gonna go and tell no one your business. Do you know what I mean? Like, or whoever's around you. Like, if you put your trust into that person, then naturally be like, yo, can we just have a conversation? All it takes. And then once you get that off, you can then come up with, I don't know, like, problem-solving situations. Like, alright, cool, how do we do this? Like, how do we get rid of this problem? And even though it might not be able to be fixed that day or in that same 24 hours, 48 hours, but as long as you're working on it, naturally there's going to be a point where you come to you and you're like, I feel better now. Do you know what I'm saying?
And that's it. And I feel like doing things like that, it then kind of makes you and aligns you to then go full steam ahead with your job. Because I suppose if you just keep it like at the back of you and don't really tap into it,
that's
it's just going to keep weighing down, and then, like you say, you just have this huge like outburst. And you're like,
and it's just like, no, that's not cool. Like,
but you're here now. It's 2020. You've got your new music coming. 100%. Hopefully, we've got the festival lineups on the way as well.
Should be lit, man.
We've got some features that he's like not letting us in on, which I'm really frustrated about.
We're in the studio
find out
working
soon.
non-stop.
What else is your aims for this year? What do you want to accomplish by December?
I say December, so we're dropping the 2 tapes, potentially 3.
Oh, what do you mean? You only want to tell us towards the end that there's going to be a third as well?
I thought management would have let you know, but a possible third one. A joint tape with someone.
What? Why are you dropping these gems
songs.
like right at the end? Kojo Funds?
No names, no names.
Okay,
But someone that everyone likes.
Okay. My stack? My stack?
A potential tour and a tour off the back of it.
Okay,
so
great.
I want to do like a winter tour after like festival season and whatnot. Do a tour in like, I say September, October-ish. November-ish, when it starts to get a bit cold outside, do like a 4 or 5 day tour, and then in the new year, hopefully do a bigger version of the tour, a couple more dates, bigger venues to the original dates, and a European tour.
Oh yes!
So,
we love to see it. Before we go, are you watching Love Island?
No, I don't watch Love Island.
Oh damn! I was going to ask you who's a firm favourite to win.
I see it on the TL though. Like, that's all I say. I'm off. I'm off socials for the month for the moment.
When are you coming back?
Only when the tape drops and that, just promo
share
everything.
Story, please, at least.
Because you know it is, I've never caught onto it, and every time that's on, I'm in the studio.
I was gonna say, who do you think that you want to win? I'm gonna say Mike and Leanne now because he's not gonna answer the question because he doesn't watch it. But share this to your story.
Whoever she said should win it. Yeah, that's it. That's my point there. Done.
Alright, well, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck with this year.
No, thank you.
Fabulous.